In this presentation, I'm going to teach you about the mind launch method. So let's just get stuck straight into it. Like I said, this is one of those methods that I teach all of my clients. It's a very powerful method for creating change in your life. And if you're stuck with negative thoughts, if you're stuck overthinking or self-sabotaging, or you feel like, there's another level of your life that you want to attain, however, you haven't been able to break through to that, then this is going to be very helpful for that. It's a mental and emotional process for really reprogramming the subconscious mind. It's called the mind launch method. So you can take some notes on this. You can, listen attentively because you're going to learn something right now. So let's get into it. This is the mind launch method. And this video is going to help you if you feel like you're struggling with negative thinking, limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, those things, even anxiety, right? Depression, those issues, right? They can be, what happens when the negative thoughts become too much or the self-sabotage becomes too much. We start to get anxious, we start to get depressed. So if any of that stuff resonates with you, then this is going to be really, really helpful. And before I get into it, I just want to show you some proof that this stuff works because, a big part of this work is really understanding that it actually works. Because a lot of people don't believe that it works, right? A lot of people, it's kind of, in some ways, people could think it's like alternative compared to the traditional ways of doing things. However, I've got enough five-star Google reviews now that I know that I can confidently say that this has helped people. So I'm going to show you a few of my five-star reviews, and then that's going to help you see what's possible by implementing what I'm about to teach you. So I'm not going to read all of them, but I'm going to read a couple from a few of the standouts or my favorites, right? So first one up top here is from Jim. Jimmy, I worked with him in 2023, and he said working with Josh was a game changer. Over 8 months, we went through a journey of self-discovery, and I equipped him with invaluable tools for mindfulness and stress management, leading to significant changes in the mentality and lifestyle. He says, I can now say that the anxiety which consumed my life is at bay and I'm happy. And after completing the program, I continue to practice the teachings, making them a part of my everyday life. He says he's incredibly grateful and highly recommends to anyone struggling with their mental health. So there's a few others there as well. Over here, we got another one. Let's go with M. I'm still working with M actually, Emily Wilson. Josh has helped me manage anxiety and worry through meditation and helping me change my perspective and outlook on life. He has helped me make changes in my lifestyle and to see life with a more positive view. This has also flowed onto other aspects of my life, and I can't thank him enough for the advice and support given. I feel much more calm, peaceful, and happy. Now, M's actually amazing. She's done so well. When we first started, she was super anxious, like very, very anxious to the point that it was debilitating her. She had a recent breakup that really affected her confidence levels, and she was just feeling super anxious about everything. And now when I talk to her, it's like she's a whole different woman. So it's awesome. M's change has been epic to see. And then let's go with Ryan as well. Ryan is a lawyer from Melbourne. He says, before working with Josh, I felt a lot of anxiety and self-doubt that really held me back from enjoying my day-to-day and being confident to go after what I wanted. That was specifically with his career. And then working with Josh has helped me overcome this to now feel confident and purposeful. I rarely have any feelings of anxiety now. And if I do, I have the tools to manage it. Josh's support and guidance has helped me to be more disciplined, open, and self-aware. And so obviously, there's a bunch of other reviews there, but I just wanted to read you a few of the key ones because I think that it's important for you guys to know that this stuff actually works. So why do we self-sabotage and what causes us to get stuck in negative cycles of thinking, and where do these limiting beliefs actually come from? To answer these questions, you really need to know your mind and you need to know how your mind works. There's these two main aspects of the mind, right? The conscious mind and the subconscious or the unconscious mind. If you talk to any psychologist or psychiatrist, anyone who knows about the mind, they're going to tell you this. There's a conscious mind and there's an unconscious mind, right? So this is something that most people just don't know. They think that, oh, my mind is just my mind and it's just this one thing and it's just out of control, right? How do I control my mind? Right. Or when we're talking about mental health these days, it's often we kind of just isolate it and we just think it's just the mental health, just the mind. And we don't go into this depth where we actually have a deeper understanding of our mind and the different parts of our mind and how it all works. And I believe that when we start to understand ourselves and our mind, that understanding helps us to create change. Understanding is a very high level of operating. If you are operating and seeking to understand, that is going to be a high level for you. And that's what we're going to do here. We are going to seek to understand our mind and how it works and why it does the things that it does. And through seeking that understanding, we are going to develop a higher level of awareness, which is going to help us create change. So let's just do a brief, very unscientific example of how it actually works. You can think about this top part of the brain here as the frontal lobe, right? Up here, it's the frontal lobe, the prefrontal cortex, or it's also called the neocortex, which is the new cortex. So this is the newly developed part of the human brain, right? Up here in the frontal lobe. This could be considered the conscious mind, really, where most of the conscious activity happens. And it's really only responsible for about 5% of your life. So you go about your day and you're consciously aware of the things that are happening to you, the people that you're around, the environment that you're in. It's very much concerned with like the physical aspect of life, right? It's the stuff that you are most conscious about. You're most aware of it because it's right there in your physical environment. However, it's only really responsible for 5% of your life. And what I mean by that is it's influencing about 5% of your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors. The conscious mind is only influencing your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors a little bit, about 5% of the time, right? Not a lot. Then you've got this unconscious or subconscious part of your mind that I put this circle down here in the back part of the brain. It's called the limbic brain. You could also just call it the emotional brain. It's the older brain, the reptilian brain. This is where you have the parts of your brain which are called the amygdala, the hippocampus, those kinds of things, and they are responsible for processing emotions and memories and stuff like that. So it's more of the emotional side of the brain, right? So up the top here, the conscious is more mental, whereas the bottom is kind of like a bit more emotional, right? It's essentially like the hard drive. So if you imagine your brain's like a computer, right? Up here could be the screen that you're looking at, whereas down here is the hard drive, right? Where all of the information is stored. So it's literally stored below the conscious mind or subconscious. Subconscious essentially just means below conscious. And that is where everything is stored. It's stored down there in the hard drive. All your memories, all your beliefs, everything like that is stored in your subconscious mind, the lower part of your mind, which is essentially like the hard drive for your brain, right? Now, the subconscious mind holds 95% of who you are. It's your deep sense of identity, it's your beliefs about who you are, and it's even your actual memories of who you are. It's the part of your mind where emotions, memories, and beliefs are stored away, kind of like a computer hard drive, just what I said. It also stores away things like your habitual behaviors or your habitual ways of thinking, your habitual ways of feeling. It's all stored away in your hard drive, right? The hard drive of your mind. So you have to understand this. The subconscious mind is directing 95% of your life. So when you're just on autopilot, right? Let's say you go through your day as 24 hours in a day, maybe 5% of that time you're actually consciously aware. Now, most people will overestimate their abilities and they think that they're better than they are. Now, I've asked people how much do you think that you're actually aware of yourself throughout the day? And people will say things like 20%, 50% of the time I'm aware. But that's just not true, right? You're operating on autopilot most of the day, right? And although you might be consciously aware, like, oh yeah, I woke up, went to the toilet, I brushed my teeth, I had a coffee, and then I did this and I did that, and you're consciously aware of all of that. However, all of that was a program or a pattern. Like you know that that's what you do, that's your habit. So it's actually coming from the subconscious mind. You don't even need to think about doing that. You just do it because that's the habit, right? Same thing when it comes to the weekend and you're like, okay, cool, now it's the weekend. And my program is telling me now I'm going to, get off work, I'm going to go and drink, or I'm going to go and light up a joint, or you're going to start, call your mates and who's going to the pub or something like that, right? Or you're going to go to the Bottle-O because it's Friday. So let's go to the Bottle-O, grab a bottle of wine. Right, maybe you're doing that on a Tuesday. I don't know. But you got to understand that all of that is coming from the subconscious. It's not coming from your conscious mind. You do it. As you do it, you're kind of conscious of it happening in the moment, but you're not actually. That's your program. So the reason why you're thinking to do that is because your program is telling you to do that, right? And so you just go on autopilot. You just do those things, right? So the subconscious mind is really influencing and affecting 95% of your life. And so this is what we need to work with. We need to work with the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind holds the beliefs about who you are. It holds the identity of who you are, and it controls the behaviors that you do. So, for example, if you are going to get a bottle of wine on a Tuesday afternoon, that is because you have a subconscious program that's telling you that that is normal for you to do that, and it's safe for you to do that, right? And it controls really most of the feelings that you feel and the thoughts that you think. So you'll justify it and you'll say, yeah, it's fine for me to have a bottle of wine on Tuesday, right? Because unconsciously, that's your normal, that's your safe. However, if you're here and you're watching this, you're probably aware that you want to change, you want to be better, you want a healthier lifestyle, you want to be more calm, you want to be more relaxed in your life. And so you need to confront this truth that your unconscious or subconscious programs are running your life. And you can think of the conscious mind as kind of like the masculine aspect of the mind, right? The 5%, it's the masculine aspect of the mind. It's the leader, it's the rational, the logical side of the brain, right? That's kind of the masculine qualities. So the conscious mind, it really gets most of the information first and then delivers it to the subconscious mind, right? So it's like the male part of the brain up top here, right? Conscious, rational, logical side of the brain. Most of the information comes in through the conscious and then goes delivered down to the subconscious. And this will make sense why I'm talking about this in a second. Now, the subconscious mind is the feminine aspect of the mind. And remember, the conscious mind is only responsible for 5%. The subconscious is responsible for 95%. So essentially, the subconscious or the feminine aspect of the mind has more power than the masculine aspect of the mind. Now, this subconscious mind or the feminine aspect of the mind receives the information from the conscious mind, and then it gives birth to new behaviors, new feelings, new memories. Right? So the conscious information comes in, goes into the subconscious receives that information, processes it, and then essentially creates a new program that gives life to new behaviors, new feelings, new memories. So I hope you were still with me here. It's kind of like how a man delivers a seed to a woman to create life, right? Man delivers the seed, then the woman spends the 9 months in, gestational period, pregnancy, and then boom, you've got a baby. The conscious mind is essentially delivering information to the subconscious mind to create your life. And now when you were younger, this happened automatically, right? The conscious mind actually wasn't even on for the first 7 years of your life. It wasn't developed yet. So when you were young, all of the information was just going straight into the subconscious, right? Here's what I'm saying. The problem is when we're young, our rational or conscious mind hasn't really developed properly. So we're just sponging up information and things that are happening around us. And our subconscious or unconscious mind is just starting to create, it's interpreting that information, processing that information, and it's starting to create ideas of ourselves based on the things happening around us. So when we're early life, 0 to 7, and even, it's up to like 15 and even up to 20 and stuff like that, 20, 25 kind of thing, we're still just absorbing information, making sense of the world, internalizing things, making it mean something about us. And that is how we are creating the programs that are in the hard drive of our mind. So you have to understand that all of the things that you learned about yourself through your earlier life are all playing out in your current life, because those programs that you learnt when you were younger are essentially dictating the way that you think, the way that you feel, the habits that you have, the behaviors that you do, who you think you are, what you think you're capable of. All of that was programmed into you when you were a kid. Now, you can't change the past, but you can change the future, right? You can change by becoming present and realizing this, like I said, seeking to understand how the mind works. Oh yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. Why I would be experiencing these recurring patterns over and over again, or these recurring loops of behavior over and over again, this self-sabotage, this negative thinking, right? That makes sense because these there might have been things that happened when I was younger that have, where I've experienced things that are similar, and then I'm continuing just to experience things that are similar. So it takes a bit of self-reflection and understanding to get this, right? Which is why we're here, why we're looking into this. You start to realize when you self-reflect, when you look back at your life, that, oh yeah, maybe there was some things that happened that created like a sense of, if you've got anxiety, there might have been some things that happened where you created a sense of unsafety in your body. And now you've got anxiety because there's this deep feeling of like, I don't trust my body. I'm not safe in my body. I'm not safe in myself. And then anxiety, for example. Or if you've got negative thoughts, I feel like I'm not good enough, feel like I could never do that. Maybe there was things that happened when you were younger where you were developing these ideas about yourself. So if we don't have nurturing and safe environments to grow up in, then this can lead to a warped sense of self, which can create these limiting beliefs, the self-sabotaging behaviors, and really just an out of control mind. Now, if you're like me, you probably want to gain control of your mind so you can create the life that you want for yourself. And I'm going to teach you how we do that now. Like I said, you can't change the past. You can't change it. It's done. But now we are here in the present moment. And from this present moment, we can start to understand the past and we can understand how the past influences the present. And then in the present, we can start to make changes to create a new future. So the present moment is really this powerful moment where you can choose to change. And I'm going to teach you how we do that now. If you're here, you're already doing that. You've already chosen to show up here, right? You've already chosen to watch this video training. You've already chosen to be with me today. And that in itself is a positive choice. So well done. Now, before we get into the mind launch method, one thing that I want to cover, which is really, really important that I teach all of my coaching clients, is radical responsibility. This process that I'm about to share with you will only work for people who are taking extreme ownership of their life and everything that happens in it. You need to become radically responsible for all of the results you experience in your life. You can't just watch this one video training and expect to change. And I even tell my coaching clients, you can't just come onto my course and expect a magic pill. I want to make it very clear. I'm not selling any magic pills, and I'm not going to say, oh yeah, you're just going to, you're going to come on and I'm going to teach you this thing and all your problems will be solved forever. That's not what I do. What I'm teaching is a lifestyle. And that's why you saw those reviews. People say, oh, now I've got a new mentality. I've got a new lifestyle. Because if you're living a shit lifestyle and you continue to live an unhealthy shit lifestyle, you know, that's not going to change anything. Like you can't just learn something new and expect something to change because you'll still be doing the behaviors that are shit, right? You'll still be doing the stuff that's causing you to feel anxious, and you'll still be doing, like things that aren't helpful for you, right? And if you continue to do things that aren't helpful for you, you won't change. I was just talking to this point with my coaching clients yesterday. And then I had another one-on-one call yesterday afternoon where same thing, talking to this guy who I've been working with for a while. He came through the program, and I've been working with him for like 6 months now. I'm still working with him. A couple of months ago, he was really, really at a high. He was like peaking. He was like, wow, my anxiety's all gone. I'm feeling so good. It's sweet and I'm feeling really good. And then he self-sabotaged, right? Now, this is actually common for people that work with me. It's like they go up, 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 and like really, really good. And then boom, something happens and it's like a self-sabotage, right? Sometimes that just needs to happen for people to really like understand, right? So this is something that I've often talked about. It's not just about, okay, I'm just going to do it for 6 months and then that's going to be it. I'm going to be all fixed. It's a whole change of your lifestyle. It's a whole change of your identity. It's really transforming your life, right? And in a sustainable way for a long period of time. Like you got to let go of the old self, right? If there's an old self that's full of negative thoughts, full of limiting beliefs, full of anxiety, full of depression, right? Full of addictive behaviors or anything else, like relationship breakdowns normal for you, stuff like that. You actually have to completely let go of that old self and take radical responsibility for becoming a new version of yourself. And so people have a lot of resistance to this idea of letting go because the whole like sense of safety is in the old identity. You think that it's safe to be who you are. But really, if you're experiencing anxiety, depression, and all that kind of shit, it's actually not safe being who you are. But your subconscious mind will try to keep you safe by telling you, no, don't change. You don't need to do anything. And your pride will keep you stuck. And then you won't ever change, but you'll end up just continuing to struggle. Subconsciously, you're doing that because it feels safer for you to do that. However, in the long term, it's not going to work out well for you. So you have to be able to be humble enough to drop the ego for a second, right? The ego will come back, you'll get your identity again, but you need to like drop the old self. And that's when you can allow yourself to mature into a new self, right? To grow into a new self, to evolve into a new self. And this is a very natural part of life. If you look at trees, every single, if you notice if you like going in nature, you like going for walks year round, what you'll notice is during winter or autumn, the bark of the trees fall off. So of certain trees, right? Maybe not all trees, but you go for a walk sometimes around winter time, you're going to see, oh wow, all the bark's fallen off the tree. It's shedding a layer. And snakes, they do the same thing. They shed the layer. Now, obviously, we're humans, but I think it's you looking around in the natural world and you see that, oh yeah, we go through these seasons, and during the seasons we need to shed. We need to get rid of an old layer, and that helps us to give life to a new layer. Now, humans really suffer when they don't let go, because then they stay stuck and they become like this hardened being, right? But you need to consistently let go every season or even every day, every breath, you have an opportunity to let go. And the more that you let go, the more that you create the space for growth. So I know that's a bit of a tangent, but you need to take radical responsibility for yourself and allow yourself to let go of the old self and grow into the new self. Really, really important that I touch on that. So here's the mind launch method, right? Here's a framework and a model for reprogramming your mind, which I'm going to walk you through right now. It all starts over here in this big circle with your thoughts, your emotions, and your belief. So I'm just going to talk about this big circle really quickly, because your thoughts and your emotions are what create your beliefs. When you think about what is a belief is just a thought that you feel strongly about. That's what a belief is. It's a thought that you feel strongly about. So when you have a thought that you feel strongly about emotionally, it creates a belief. You just need to look at any religion to understand that. It's just that they have a certain way of thinking in religions, and then they feel strongly about it. So that's then they develop belief. They develop faith in it. So you got to understand that all beliefs come from thoughts and emotions. Now, if you've got limiting beliefs, for example, things that happened when you were younger, it's just a thought that you had when you were younger, and then it was attached to some kind of a feeling, a strong feeling, and then it became a belief, and then it was stored away in your subconscious mind, right? Or your unconscious mind. And now that unconscious mind is directing your life, right? So there's a famous quote, which I haven't got on here, but I know it off by heart. It's until you make the unconscious conscious, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And that's by Carl Jung. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So we've got all of these limiting beliefs stored away, and they're all usually unconscious. So until we make those unconscious beliefs conscious, that's our life will just be however it is, and we're just going to call it fate. When you make the unconscious conscious, you start to become conscious. You start to become the creator of your reality as opposed to the victim to it. Right. And the way that we do that is we change our beliefs. Right. So we change our thoughts, we change our emotions, and we create new beliefs. And that's what I'm going to tell you how to do in a second. So you got to start here, right? If you want any change, you got to start at the level of thoughts and emotions, right? And then you can change your beliefs. And then from there, the next thing that happens, right? When you have a belief system stored away in the hard drive of your mind, what happens is you have another part of your mind, which is called the reticular activating system. And if you look this up, there's been plenty of studies done on the reticular activating system, and they say it's kind of like the bridge between the unconscious mind and the conscious mind, the bridge or the filter between the unconscious mind and the conscious mind. That is what the reticular activating system is. You can look it up if you don't believe me, but it is a bridge or a filter between the unconscious and the conscious, right? So when you have beliefs in your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind, what happens is your reticular activating system looks for confirmation of those beliefs in your life. So you've got these unconscious belief systems, and there's a part of your brain that is looking for confirmation that your belief systems are true. And now Same thing. You just need to think about religions. It's so easy when you think about religions to, make an analogy for this, because let's say you got a Christian person, right? And they're going to see all of the reasons why Christianity is the way and God is the way and Jesus is the way, right? Talk to a Muslim person, right? In their reality, they see all of the reasons why Allah is the way and Muhammad is the prophet, right? So the only thing that's different is their belief. One person believes one thing, the other person believes the other thing, and they're both seeing a lot of confirmation in their reality that their belief is true. And that's because the RAS is picking up their unconscious belief and making it conscious, looking for it consciously, looking for confirmation consciously. Now, this can happen in both ways. It can happen in a positive direction, and it can also happen in a negative direction. So let me just give you an example of that. And I'm going to use the example of confidence. Now, you might think that you are a confidence person, or you might not think that you're a confident person. Either way, you will be confident in that. Let me explain. Let's say that you don't think that you're confident. You're actually confident that you are not confident, right? And if you are confident, you're going to be confident that you're confident, right? Either way, your RAS is going to pick up the unconscious belief that you either are confident or you aren't confident. It's going to look for confirmation that you either are confident, boom, which will lead to conviction that I am confident, and you get this positive belief, I am confident. Or if you're not confident, your RAS, and you have this belief that you're not confident, your reticular activating system looks for all the confirmation that you are not confident, and it becomes a negative conviction. I'm not confident. Either way, the conviction equals confidence. So you're going to be confident that you are confident, or you're going to be confident that you're not confident. And this works for anything, right? I'm not good enough, right? If you feel like you're not good enough, your RAS is going to look for confirmation that you're not good enough. It's going to look for all those failed relationships, all the reasons why the career didn't work out, all the anxiety, all that. Okay, I'm not good enough, obviously. Obviously I'm not good enough and things are really hard for me. And you become confident in that. Other thing is true. I am worthy. I am worthy and I am good enough, right? And your RAS looks for all the confirmation. All right, sweet. I got a job rise recently, a pay rise, or I signed some new clients at work, or I had this awesome relationship, or whatever. And then you become convicted in the fact that you are good enough. And then you develop confidence in that direction as well. So the point I'm making here is that when you change these thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, especially the beliefs, they will get fed into your reticular activating system, and your reticular activating system will look for confirmation either way, positive or negative. And so for most people who have anxiety, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, they are always looking for the negative confirmation. So if you suffer with, if you're struggling and always thinking life's so hard and things just never work out for me and I'm not good enough and, I'm always overthinking and why does it have to be this way? You've got a negative belief system and your RAS is looking for confirmation of that consistently in your environment, which means you become confident that life sucks. And the other way is true as well. And this is what we're going to talk about now. Well, how do we actually create positive confirmation? How do we retrain the reticular activating system to look for positive confirmation that my life is awesome and everything that I do works out and I can create my reality and I'm confident in that? We've got to look for positive confirmation. So this is the problem with people who have negative thinking or anxiety or depression and those kinds of things. They're always looking for the negative confirmation and they always get that as well because they have beliefs that, that's what they get. Right. So we've got to change the thoughts, we've got to change the emotions, we've got to change the beliefs. We've got to actively retrain the reticular activating system to look for positive confirmation instead of looking for negative confirmation. So how do we do that? Mind Launch Method is really a three-part process you can use daily to supercharge your mindset and reprogram your mind to achieve whatever outcome you want in life. And I really believe that's true. I've seen it in enough people. I've done it myself. I use this a lot. So one thing you need to understand is that your mind is so powerful. It literally will create whatever you think about and focus on. And hopefully that model that I just showed you helps you understand how that actually works. Your brain is this crazy mechanism, this crazy computer that is like so advanced that it's just operating like in a really incredible way to create your reality. So the fact is, you're always creating your reality, whether you're aware of it or not, right? You're always creating the experiences that you're having, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not. right? You're either unconsciously creating your reality and then you're just calling it fate and you're just like, oh man, this is just how it is for me. Or you're consciously creating your reality, which is what people do in my coaching program, right? And if you're here, that's what we're learning. So part one of this mind launch method, and this is one of the first things I teach people, is you have to have a clear affirmation. So we go through, when I do work with people, we go through and we create a clarity on like, what are your goals? What's the vision for your life? What do you want to achieve, right? Could call this like manifestation if you wanted to. But we have this part one, which is the clear affirmation. This is the thinking. This is the I am statements. Now, this is where most people finish it and they just go, okay, I'm just going to do that. But we're going to go 2 layers deeper because you also need the feeling. Like I said, right? It's not just about the thought, it's about the feeling or the emotion. So part two is the emotional confirmation. So this is the feeling and the subconscious, right? Part one is the clear affirmation, the thinking, the conscious mind, the masculine aspect of the mind. Part two is the emotional confirmation, the feeling, the subconscious mind, feminine aspect of the mind. So we put them two together. We have a clear affirmation and an emotional confirmation. And then part three is we also need the evidence. And the evidence, when we start to look for the evidence, which I don't know, no one does this, but when we look for the evidence, we are retraining the reticular activating system to look for positive confirmation. So we need to have proof, right? This is where people go wrong with manifestation. That they kind of like think that, oh, it's just all wishy-washy and maybe I'll get it one day. I don't know. But they're not focusing on the proof. So people do affirmations and they feel like I'm getting depressed because I'm writing this stuff and it doesn't work and I don't believe it. And I haven't got any of this stuff in my life. So how do I know that this is working? You need to retrain your brain to look for the positive confirmation, to look for the proof that it's working. And that is what will create the belief, right? So we've got this 3-part process here. So let's go through this now. And you can actually do this in your journals right now if you want. I want you to write down the clear affirmation. So list 3 I am statements that align with your big goal. Now, maybe you've got relationship goals, maybe you've got money goals, or maybe you've just got self goals. Maybe you just want to be confident. Maybe you just want to be calm. Maybe you just want to be peaceful. Maybe you want to overcome your anxiety. So maybe it's I am free of anxiety, or I am confident, or I am calm. I am at peace within myself. I am safe within myself. It could be anything, right? Or maybe it's I am a millionaire. I don't know. Whatever you want. But list 3 I am statements that align with your big goal. And you can do this now, right? List these 3 I am statements that align with your big goal. I am this, I am that, I am, right? And then next, once you've got the 3 I am statements, we're going to create 3 I feel statements. And this is the emotional confirmation. So let's say you've achieved your big goal, you've achieved the I am. How are you going to feel? So we're thinking from that future self. How would you feel once you've achieved that? Maybe I feel peaceful. Maybe I feel confident. Maybe I feel abundant, right? List 3 I feel statements that align with that higher self. Maybe you feel grateful. I feel grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative for what I have. I feel so grateful that I've achieved everything that I wanted to achieve. I feel so grateful, right? That's the emotional confirmation. So list 3 I feel statements. So at this point, we've got 3 I am statements, we've got 3 I feel statements. And finally, evidence, right? And this is the most important part. This is also the part that people struggle with the most because it's kind of hard. You got to put a little bit of effort into it, right? You do have to think about this. You do have to actively use your mind and think about it and use a bit of effort. We're going to look for the evidence. So this is the proof or the belief. So the way that you do this is you list 3 I have statements that prove that what you're saying is happening. Now, this could also be kind of like gratitudes, but it needs to be something that you can write down and you can say, this is proof that I have been working on becoming this person. So you can actually use retraining your RES to look for the proof, to look for the evidence that, yeah, I am becoming this person. I do feel this way. So it's something like I have been doing the mind launch method every day, right? I have been showing up to the school of consciousness. I have been doing my meditation. Or if you're working with me, I have a coach who's helping me, right? And I have been doing my routine every day and I have been disciplined, right? I have a community around me for support, right? I have a partner who loves me, maybe. I have a job that's secure, maybe, right? just these little I have statements. So you're looking for the positive things, right? You're looking for the good things, and the things that you can say are actually true. And this is going to retrain your mind. And if you struggle to find the I have statements, think about, what are you grateful for? What do you have in your life that you are grateful for that is proof that you are on the right track? And that's the I have statement. So this is one of the first things that I set up with my new clients. So you can take this method and you can run with it. And once you do start implementing this method, you will start seeing some positive changes, and you'll probably be faced with some new problems as well. Because what happens is we get on this roll, right? I teach this stuff to my clients. They start developing discipline. They start developing some consistency, and they start to commit to this process, and they start to make some positive changes, and everything starts moving, right? Really, really good. And then what's going to happen is you're going to probably get tested with some new problems, right? These new challenges are kind of like tests to see if you're really capable of becoming the person you need to be so you can have what you want to have. So you're going to maybe get, tested, right? Or you're going to have these challenges come up. These challenges are really opportunities for you to evolve into your higher self, right? To evolve into that next level self, to evolve into that best self, or to evolve into that new self. So the challenges are really where you're going to have to make the choice to let go of the old self and come into the new self. And so I've got an offer for you guys. If you want help with this, if you want support, you want accountability, you want mentorship so that you can get control of your anxious or negative thinking, if you want a coach and a clear pathway to build stronger self-confidence and a positive mindset, if this work is resonating with you and you want some more help, some more guidance, some more accountability with it, then book a coaching application with me on my website. The website is www.mindlaunch.com.au. I'm currently opening up spots for the Conscious Creator Program. So if you want to jump on board with the Conscious Creator Program so that you can start to consciously create your reality instead of living in the unconscious programs, then book an application call. You can go to the website and do it. I'll put the link below this video as well. And if you want help with it, then I encourage you to take action on that, because it can be hard to do it by yourself. You can do it by yourself. It might take longer, right? I've given you the process now, but it's probably going to be longer. You're probably going to have questions along the way. You're probably going to feel like, far out, I need some help with this. Or you might feel alone. You might feel like you don't have that support. And I can tell you from experience of getting coached myself by many people, and also working with my clients, coaching is a fast track, right? And it will basically just give you that support, the accountability, and guidance to just boom, make those changes in the next 6 months to a year. Your life could be completely different. So if that's interesting for you and you want to jump on the coaching program, go to my website and book a call. Yeah. And that's it. Thank you guys for being here with me. I'll put the link below. If you're not already, jump into School of Consciousness as well. It's a free group I have. If you're not sure about coaching, but you want something that's kind of like maybe more of a beginner step, you can also join my Anxiety to Alignment program. But if you do want the coaching, everything is on the website. I'll put the links below. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, Josh.